Welcome to the Warrior's Way. Our warrior this week is Erin McClelland. Say good morning.
Good morning.
She's from New Path. But before we get to her, if you haven't gone to Spiritual Warfare Unit, like, share, and subscribe on our YouTube channel. Please do that. And while you're taking a look at that, if you go to spiritualwarfareunit.com, you know someone's struggling with food or clothes or baby formula or drug rehabilitation, go to spiritualwarfareunit.com, click on struggling. You'll see 16 different people that we have there to help you. It will be free to those that need it. And if you don't need help, we all know somebody that does. So help us, help them, help you. All right. Good morning. How are we doing?
We're doing good.
So you are from New Paths, and give everybody just a brief overview of what that is.
New Paths is an adult treatment center here in Flint, Michigan, and we work with men and women 18 years and older who are struggling with behavioral health issues from substance use disorders, mental health, physical health, really anything that they're going through. We have recovery housing, residential services. I'm sure we'll get more into maybe program description, but we really work on providing an individual the full continuum of care.
So the full continuum of care is helping people who struggle with addictions of some kind?
Yes.
Okay.
Anywhere from that person coming in the door just at their lowest point to seeking help, to watching them transform their lives over whatever period of time they need, and going out as a successful person.
And like sobriety court and all that stuff. All right.
Specialty courts, the jails, wherever there's a need. And that's how New Path started, was working with the corrections population.
All right. So that's what we're going to get to.
All
but
right.
you have a kind of a cool story, so I wanted to have you on. I've wanted you on for a while. I told you that. And so I kind of just want to get your story and why New Paths at the end. And we'll get to that, right?
Yeah.
So where did you grow up?
I actually grew up outside of Grand Rapids in a little city, well, it's probably not that little anymore, called Wyoming.
Wait, there's a city called Wyoming?
There is.
In Grand Rapids?
Yes, and everyone would say, is that the state of Wyoming?
Yeah.
No, it was not.
I avoided that because I figured that was a dumb question. So
it's just a suburb of Grand Rapids, probably lower to middle class.
Was it like country? Was it city?
No, it was, well, Grand Rapids is a big city.
It's huge.
And we were city-like, but not,
Your city-ish.
We definitely weren't country at all. There was other surrounding suburbs that were country.
So you were suburban?
Yes.
You grew up in suburbia. All right.
Yeah.
Both parents, one parent, two parents?
I have two parents. I have a mom and a dad. I grew up with them for most of my life.
In Wyoming?
In Wyoming.
All right.
Yes,
what was
childhood?
Give us like a snap picture of like childhood, like early middle school. What was that like?
Oh, goodness gracious. I could do that. So I actually loved my childhood, not realizing how much dysfunction was actually taking place, but we had an amazing neighborhood of kids.
So you had like a group of kids you hung out with?
It was so awesome.
So like the Sandlot? You guys playing baseball and hanging out?
Yes, we played baseball, pickle, kickball, ghost in the graveyard.
Nice.
All those, going to the cemeteries, riding our bikes all over, no cell phones.
Right.
Come on when the street lights come on.
Yep.
Mom would say, get out of the house all day long. Maybe come back for PB&J. Or find someone else's mom who might give us sandwiches and popsicles or cookies.
Absolutely.
And gone all day. I honestly had a great childhood with my friends. It was really cool.
All right. So the beginning is very picturesque. That's cool. What's high school look like? Were you like a jock or a sports person, nerd? Like, what were you?
Well, I try not to stereotype, but I went to a very small high school called Kelloggsville High School. Yes,
Kelloggsville?
Lots of cereal jokes back in the day.
Very crunchy, I imagine.
Yes, very crunchy, marshmallowy. But it's a small school. I graduated with 69 people. In your
class?
In my class was 69. Now the school's much bigger once they started opening schools of choice.
What was your
kids came from everywhere.
What was your GPA?
What was I? I did graduate with honors.
Wow.
I probably was like, oh gosh, hopefully no one's going to go back and look at my high school transcript. But I had to be at least a 3.5, 3.6.
Well, with honors, it has to be about 3.5.
Yeah. And I was.
So you were smart.
I was smart. I was a cheerleader. I was on student council.
So you're very involved.
Very, very involved. Very involved.
So you were always. So is your personality type the type that like if there's something to do, you're involved with that and you want to help lead that kind of thing? Is that how your personality is?
Well, apparently it is, because that's what continues to happen in my life. But yes, even in school, I was class vice president for 4 years. I was...
All 4 years?
All 4 years.
Wow.
I was student council. I probably had a position on student council, captain of the cheerleaders. I don't think I was captain of my softball team, but just naturally, I take on leadership roles, even though I try to tell myself, like, it's okay to say no sometimes, Erin.
Yeah, no.
But I just get involved, definitely. That is a family genetic trait, though,
Right.
as well.
So why do you think that, like, family genetics, but what is it like you see and you go, oh, I can help with this? Like, what is it that when you come into like student council, or like I was a captain of our team, and it's like, I know that I can mold these guys and we can get the goal they're trying to hit. Like, for me, it was like goal oriented.
Yeah.
Were you similar to that, or was it different?
I think I'm goal oriented, but I think for the most part, I was very optimistic. I mean, I was voted class optimist, and I think that I just try to lead from a positive nature. I try to just spread like light and joy in people's lives, and just be a good role model. Because I coached after that, after I graduated, I coached cheerleading for 10 years, and I just always wanted to be that positive role model for other people.
Gotcha.
I mean, I learned later in life some of that was just escaping, so I didn't have to go home or deal with stuff.
Situation.
But I love being an example to people.
Right.
And it's not that there's a particular trait. I just like being an example.
I don't know, man. Certain people are just, that's why I ask these questions, because it's crazy how it's like, oh, that happened again. And that happened. Like, I don't like being told something can't be done.
Right.
And like, when you tell me it's not possible, I'm like, hold my Coke. I think I can do this. Yeah, it's just harder than you think it is, right? And for me, that's always that ambition to go, I bet you we can do this. And so when you inject that into a positive thing, it's great. When you inject that into a negative, it's not as great. But either way, it's a hold my Coke moment.
Right.
All right, so you're in high school. Now, you hinted at some of the struggles that you were going through while you were keeping yourself busy, which I understand. And so what kind of things were like happening at home that you were keeping yourself preoccupied from?
Sure. I mean, I don't mind sharing my story, because I know that it can maybe impact someone else's life.
That's
right. Most of childhood, like I was saying, when I was a little youngster playing in the neighborhood, everything seemed pretty normal. I mean, we weren't, like I said, we were a lower to middle class family. Dad was, the primary worker, did everything he could to support us. My mom was actually pregnant with me when she was a senior in high school.
Wow.
And of course, her grandparents were like, you're going to be with, my dad.
Yeah. You have to get married now,
so you have to get married now. And so they were both very young. And there's so much to learn when I think back when I was 18, even 20, 30, 40 years old. Still so much to learn. So they were very young when they married, had me, and then had my little brother, well, my middle brother now, but we were only 18 months apart. And so we grew up very close. I mean, typical fighting and stuff, but love my brother.
So you're the oldest?
I am the oldest. Yes.
The picture's starting to come clear.
The overachiever, all those wonderful traits we have.
Yeah.
But I think it's like 5th or 6th grade, my parents had told us they were getting divorced. And as that older child, you want to try to fix everything. And
you want to maintenance the drop of the rock.
Yeah. And so that was really hard. And I didn't know it was affecting me until actually one of my teachers called my parents and said, is something happening at home? Because Erin is just coloring everything black. I don't even remember this. I was told this story just some years ago. And I was like, I don't remember doing that. But I was always really close with my teachers. And I went, like I said, it was a small school. So most people knew our families and friends and stuff. So they got divorced, but they were still like together. And then they ended up having my baby brother. And
post-divorce.
Yes, post-divorce brother. So I'm 13 years older than Tyler. Ryan is my other brother who, and we have an awesome sibling relationship. I'm picked on religiously by them, center of all their jokes. So when you said I had to be funny later, I said we might have to call my brothers. But because they're pretty funny. Yeah. But I believe we used humor in our family as a way to cope as well.
Sure.
After my baby brother was born, I believe now, as an adult, looking at what I know, I believe my mom went through postpartum, and that's when her drinking started.
Okay.
And so I'm a teenager, going into high school, and just seeing this unfold.
Now they're still staying together.
Well, yeah, my dad is back at the house. They're just not married at this time.
Okay.
So, but yeah, they're there. So my parents are like together, but
Yeah,
it's unhealthy.
There's tension.
There's
Yeah.
tension. It's unhealthy. It's stressful environment. And back then, people didn't really get help for that. Women especially didn't get help, and I don't think postpartum was as evident as it is today
Right.
for women to get diagnosed.
I don't even
and
think
get
they had a
treated.
diagnosis for
No,
that, right?
I don't think so either. I don't think it came about till some years ago. But
Right.
but looking back, I could see that's what
Right.
my mother
And
was
using a
going through.
depressant to deal with a depressive
Yes.
issue. That's just a
Yes.
double hammer, right?
Yes, and there's family history of alcoholism as well.
All right. So so you said you're a teenager. So
Yeah.
what year did you graduate?
93.
Okay. So when did how long did that trip take for her to just, was it immediate? She just went right into it?
I think so, yes.
Okay.
When I look back, because I would say it was very, very quickly. Like, it descended very quickly.
So, what kind of process happened while that was going on? Because, I mean, the mom is the nucleus of the relationship, the communicator, the dad is the worker, and, losing your ability to communicate at the center, I mean, you just decided I'm going to stay busy with school. Mm-hmm. You kept yourself grades, sports, and I'm coming home late, doing my homework, get up in the morning, I'm just avoiding. That's what I did, right?
Yes.
Okay. I think that's a healthy way to do it.
It
Like you're
was
stuck.
I don't want to be here. And then but at the same time, I did want to, the instinct in me was I wanted to help my mom because I didn't want to see her suffer and being sad. But,
So what did you try to do?
Well, I did get in trouble. I did dump out liquor in bottles. I dumped all those out.
That'll get you in trouble.
Yeah, that doesn't go over very well.
Yeah, my mom always said that. Yeah, that's my medication, and I'm self-medicating. It's like, well, that's weird.
Yeah, or replace it with water because it was, vodka, so it was clear. That didn't go over well,
Yeah.
I just didn't want to see her hurting. I don't want to see people hurt today either, but I didn't want to see her hurting.
And you can't do anything to fix it.
Yeah, I would stay home and watch my baby brother, so I would have to, I'd miss some school, but not excessive, but just he was little, so he had to be taken care of too. And, but my dad did a lot. My dad was, he was our biggest enabler, but also our biggest supporter at the same time. He's loyal and loving, and he didn't want to see my mom suffering either.
Yeah.
And my other brother, who were 18 months apart, he was in football and activities. And, we had girlfriends and boyfriends, so we were gone a lot from the house. And
being a teenager, in the last place you want to be, that house.
Yeah.
Right? All right, so you're going through this, you're realizing your mom's struggling, you're trying to help. Friction. We'll say friction at the house. So you graduate in 1993, and where do you go next?
Well, one of the things I'll add to that, too, because I didn't understand it then like I do now with helping people, is my mom had gone to a rehab facility when I think I was a junior or senior. And, of course, there's family visit day. So you go.
Wow.
And then the counselor, that becomes my role in life, is like trying to talk about this whole family dynamic.
Yeah.
And in my head, I'm like, this is not my problem. And now here I have to talk to families.
Why am I talking to you about her
problems? Right.
I have my own life.
I have my own life. Exactly. I'm
not saying that's a teenage girl's perspective.
No.
I'm saying it's close.
Yes.
Well, before you go any further, we're going to have to go to our first break. All right.
Okay.
So, but I want to tell people to go on the break. I want you to go to newpaths.org, check out what they're doing. We got it up on this scene. Check out the things you're doing. See if you know someone that's struggling, you can have them check out and see what they're doing. We're going to be with Erin. You guys sit tight, all right? We're going to be right back. Taking a quick break from our podcast. I wanted to let you know about our life application program that we have for churches and nonprofits in the area that are trying to find programming that they can use in case the corona shuts you down and you're not able to get in. You go to spiritualwarfareunit.com. You click on our episodes, and you can check out our programs for as little as $29.99 a month to make sure that we're still getting the word out to those people that need it. Now, back to the program. Crap out of you all the time, right? All right. Welcome back to the Warrior's Way. Our warrior this week is Erin McClelland from New Paths. She was just talking about some of the difficulties of growing up and dealing with a parent that has an addiction, and which her and I have the same kind of background for. And so you were just getting ready to graduate. You just dealt with the counselors, which is kind of crazy. What? And your first impression was not positive.
Not good. No, and even when
That's
she went,
hilarious.
I know, and she went to AA, and then she'd come home and start like preaching AA language. I'm like, I don't need to hear this. And then
Yeah.
it's like, you need to go to Alateen or Al-Anon. I'm like, no, I don't.
Right.
It's not my problem.
Yeah.
But obviously, I know way different now. But
It's okay. Listen, being a teenage kid, you cannot put the stress of an adulthood on them. And when they do that, and they do that, that's just not fair. Because you're dealing with, you're 30, 35, 40, putting problems that you built on someone who's 15 or 16 or 17 or 18 who has no idea about life.
Right.
And then you want to hold them accountable to that. And it's just not it's not okay.
Right.
So, all right. So
Okay.
you graduate.
I do.
You do this and you go where?
I go to college. Well, I stay home for a minute, and I just go to Grand Rapids Community College at first. Goofed around a lot. Didn't, this was like, I don't know. High school came easy to me, so I assumed college was going to come the same way.
Yeah.
And so I did struggle at first, and just that whole transition into adulthood. And
Yeah.
even though I was still living at home for a minute, it still felt like I had some different freedoms because now, it's kind of my choice.
Yeah.
I guess. So I go there, and then I do my 2 years, and then I transfer to Michigan State.
Okay.
And that's when my family falls apart again at home. I'm just not in a good place.
Like
so,
what happened?
My parents, they did remarry, and then they got divorced again. So
Okay. But they're all in the same house?
all in the same house, but they get married again. I think it was my brother's senior year, so I think I was like in my second year at community college.
Okay.
My parents remarry. 6 months later, they get divorced again.
Wow.
So it's just like, I got to get out of here.
What a wreck.
I know. I said, I have to get out of here.
Yeah.
I have to go. So I get accepted to Michigan State, and then I go there, and it's
Now, are you like
utter failure.
Are you like? Hold on, before you get into that, are you like paying for this, or is like family
Student
helping?
loans.
So you're paying for it?
Yeah, I'm paying for it. So yeah.
So you're paying for it, and it's another failure.
Yes, I
It's a
don't do
double
well.
hit.
Yeah, life's just not going well. I'm not able to focus. And
What were you busy doing?
whatever you do at Michigan State.
Yeah,
Not all students.
It's not
but
all studying.
No. I mean, I had a lot of fun in college.
Mm-hmm.
I'll call it fun. I mean, definitely could have led down some destructive roads
Sure.
for sure. I
Yeah.
mean, I drank. I went to parties, went to bars, did the whole big yellow fluorescent X on your hand, and then you go in the bathroom and you wash it off. And so you get guys buying you drinks, and, the clubs then you could be 18, 19, show a college ID. So, and that was in Grand Rapids too. It was
Wow.
the same. And then I was bartending. I bartended and waited tables mostly
All right.
through college. So I'm in the
working
atmosphere.
your school, but work
Yeah.
is taking over school, and
Yeah.
it's driving that direction. All right. So how long was that? 2 years, you said?
For community college, and went to state. Came home.
How long was that, though?
State was only a semester.
One semester.
I got put on academic probation.
Oh, wow.
So here goes
you're like,
Erin,
oh my God.
3.8 GPA to academic probation.
Right.
I got to get.
All right.
my
So
life
what did you do
together.
to recenter?
I went home. My housing situations varied because I didn't want to go home, even
Right.
though my mom was out of the house. My dad had a new person he was with, very nice lady and stuff. Obviously, didn't want to go live with dad, didn't want to go live with mom.
Right.
So live with friends wherever there was like open places to live, or lived with a boyfriend. I mean, I always had a stable roof over my head. I would never call myself homeless or anything, but just wherever I could fit in, I went. But then I ended up going to Grand Valley State University.
All right. So this puts you at 20, 21?
Yeah, 2021.
Okay.
Yep, I think, because I graduated from Grand Valley in
All
'99.
right. Now, how long was the transition between Michigan State to Grand Valley State?
Just a semester,
So you're
that
just bouncing
semester in
around for a
summer.
semester.
Yeah, I come home, and I lived with my grandparents too. Actually, at that time, my mom's parents.
How'd that go?
Well, I loved it, but I did come to find out later in life both my grandparents were alcoholics too, and
I'm sensing
didn't know
a
some of the
pattern.
pattern. I did not realize the patterns. I remember as a kid, my grandma would call when he had a house phone. Hi, Grandma.
Yeah.
You're talking to Grandma. She wants to talk to my mom, and my mom's like, no, I do not want to talk to her. And I'm thinking, it's Grandma.
Yeah.
Who doesn't want to talk to Grandma?
Yeah.
But
Hi,
I
Grandma.
found out after some things I experienced when my mom would call me when she was drunk, and what I would receive on the other end. You
Yeah,
know,
the
I'm no
shellacking.
good. You think you're better than everybody.
Yep.
Just the whole
All the depression.
beat down. verbal beatdown. My grandmother did that to my mom. I didn't know that.
Right.
I
How
did
would
not
you?
see that. I never heard that. I didn't see that. And so just the patterns now, obviously you get older, you also get wiser.
Yeah.
And you learn things. And I know some of that my parents did try to protect me from. There's no way they wanted us to see my grandparents in that kind of light. And,
Sure.
and they did help raise us.
Yeah.
And they're amazing. I mean, they're past now, but I mean, I lived with them. Ryan lived with them. We had a super close relationship, and they spoiled us. And
So typical grandparent
yes,
stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I did live with my grandparents when I started at Grand Valley.
All right, so you're going to Grand Valley. What's your major?
Criminal justice.
Criminal justice. Outstanding. That's ironic. All right, so you're doing that. How's the grades?
Good. Much
You're
better.
focused now.
I'm focused.
All
and
right.
I'm still having fun on the side, but I'm focused, and my education is a priority. I need to graduate. I need to get this
Right.
degree. And
Now, are you staying on campus at the time?
no, I was living with my grandparents.
So you stayed
So,
through the 2
yep.
years. Okay.
Yep.
So that puts you at 24, 25 when you
It's
graduate?
I graduated in 99. I was 17 when I graduated high school, so 6 years. 23, 22,
All right.
23. Yeah.
So you're 23, you graduate, and then criminal justice degree. All right.
Mm-hmm.
So your plan was what?
Well, my plan was to be a probation officer working with juvenile delinquents. That was my plan.
Oh,
I loved youth. Like I said,
Yeah.
I coached, and actually.
No, it makes sense.
Yes, and one of my mentors or people who inspired me in life was our high school JV basketball coach.
Okay.
I'm on Facebook with him. His name is Terry Sayre, and he worked at the juvenile detention center in Kent County.
Okay. All
And
right.
so he was so inspirational and so inspiring, God-loving man. And so when we would have our banquets, Coach Terry is just like, rah, rah, rah. And he loved the cheerleaders, and he would bring in some of the at-risk youth.
Okay.
And like shoot hoops with our guys and practice with them, And I was like, I want to help people in that way.
Yeah.
I didn't want to be like punitive corrections
Right.
mentality. It was, I want to help, rehabilitate, give people a chance at life.
Mm-hmm.
Many of those youth we know go through foster care,
Yeah.
and CPS, and just
And despite how dysfunctional your parents were, they
Yeah.
held it together enough so you didn't have to go through that. That's
Right,
why
I
I was always
didn't.
thankful for that, because
Me too.
we were close,
Yes.
right? So, all right, so because I'm feeling all of this, this is so great. All right, so did you get hired right out of college?
No, the state actually went on a hiring freeze in 1999.
So you go through
So
all this
like-
work, and they're like, "Yeah, we're not hiring
Yeah, I
anyone."
was applying everywhere, so I didn't get in, and I had sent my resume to one of these services where
Yeah, yeah.
they try to place you in a job.
Yeah, yeah.
And I actually got a call from Project Rehab in Grand
Project
Rapids.
Rehab in Grand Rapids.
Yes.
All right.
And they were looking for individuals, kind of like a line staff level, like a residential advisor, not
Gotcha.
a counselor, because
Yep.
I don't have my counseling degree
Yeah.
at that time. And so I accept the position working with in their youth rehab. So
Mm-hmm.
people could go there for youth, juveniles could go there from short-term treatment to long-term
So
treatment.
that was the pull, the kids.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Because I
This
was
makes
like,
sense.
I don't want to work in substance abuse.
Yeah.
I didn't. I've said that 25 times in my life, Isaac. I
You know
don't wanna
something?
work.
If I knew what I was doing, none of this would be happening. Right? I just let's see what happens.
Yeah, why didn't I go engineer?
Yeah, because all the things you're not doing it. It's like, yeah, you're totally doing that.
Yeah.
And what's funny is you're really good at it, right? So, all right. So, and for those that don't know, it's a little inside baseball. We're getting to our new Pats does
Yes.
rehabilitation. And you're like, yeah, I'm not doing
I'm
that.
not doing
Not
it.
interested.
No.
So it's the youth, and you're surrounding yourself with these positive people that
Yes.
you want to emulate and be like, which is awesome. That's a great way to do things. And so you get into this. Now, how long were you looking for the job? Was it quick or?
It actually happened quickly. So I graduated
Okay.
in April, and then I was hired that summer into early fall.
So did you apartment?
I was in an apartment. Yeah, I lived with my
Okay.
best friend and my niece, and we lived together until I moved over here to this side of the state.
All right. So what was that like when you walked in there? Because this is a new experience, right?
Oh, at Project Rehab?
Yeah.
I just felt an instant connection.
Really?
I loved all the staff I worked with, made some really good friends. the kids were, I mean, even though I work with adults now, it's pretty much the same population.
Same mentality.
Same mentality.
Yeah.
Slicksters, manipulative, charming, charismatic, relationships. That boy's cute, that girl's cute. Trying to no. But we did great things. I loved working with kids at that time. I was very youthful in my appearance and just made those connections with the kids. I still considered myself young at that point. They got kids from all over the state of Michigan, which was different. Some were court ordered. Some,
it's a pretty big facility over there.
Yeah. We were it's actually their behavioral health unit now for, I think it's Spectrum Health. That was like the Pine Rest campus.
Yeah, they got some good programs over there.
Yes, they do.
Yeah, I'm a big fan. So you get in there, you like that. So how long were you there?
I was there. I had a boyfriend that was from the east side of the state, from like downstate a little bit. And we were together for like a year maybe at that point, and he had a job opportunity over here, and his family was here. And he asked,
Flynn or here?
Like the Brighton Howell area.
Gotcha, okay.
And asked if I'd go with him. I was like, well, I think I got something with it. I was like, well, sure. I don't really have anything like holding me down here.
Okay.
I loved my job. I was probably there for like a year and a half, and then decided to move over to the east side of the state, which was a huge move because obviously Grand Rapids,
your whole life,
beautiful, 22 years. My family, my friends, are 21 or however long I was there, 23 years. You know. It was a huge move. I'd never really. Well, I did try to leave for a minute when I went to Michigan State, but other than that, no significant distance. And so I was like, well, why not? I didn't have a clue what the heck was over on this side of the state. Not a clue. Maybe went to like a Lions or Tigers baseball game when you get to the Detroit area, but I had no idea what was about to, come forward in my life.
Outstanding. So what did he do? What job was it? You remember?
He was just coming to work with his family for something. I don't know. So I'm not in that relationship anymore.
Well,
I think it was
thinking it was like medical or something.
No, it was like finance, family business stuff. Yeah. All
right. So you move out here. Now, what year would this be? This be 2000?
It was right before 9/11. It was that fall. So
2001. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Right, and everybody remembers where they're at when that happened.
Yes.
So.
Yeah.
All right, so
I had to leave Project Rehab. They were sad to see me go, but they gave me a great recommendation. And the first job I got here was at Brighton Hospital when they had their adolescent unit open.
All right, so what did the adolescent unit do, real quick?
Just the same as I was doing at Project Rehab. I was facilitating groups. It was substance use disorder treatment for adolescents.
And so financially, you're in a good spot?
Probably not. Paycheck to paycheck. I got a paycheck. I could pay my bills. So we're doing, and I still was.
So we're hanging out, got the boyfriend.
Yeah.
Just working, doing something you like, money's there, blah, blah, blah. Just kind of living. Just living. Is. All right. That is perfect. So we got to go to our second break.
Okay.
I told you it's going to go fast. If you haven't gone to newpaths.org and checked out what they're doing, please do that. If you like, share, and subscribe on Spiritual Warfare Unit, you guys sit tight. We'll be right back.
I'm really impressed with the teachings that Isaac has been bringing to us, as this is all based from Proverbs.
I like it because it's simple, and it doesn't matter who you are. It's very easy to understand and apply to your life.
It points out, my bad parts, and but it's showing me how to do the good parts, and I'm trying to apply that and make a better life for myself because I'm tired of where I've been.
It's impacted a lot of the guys as they continue to talk and ask questions after the meetings, as they speak to one another regarding the meeting and the messages and the topics that are being brought up, which are down-to-earth topics of situations and things that we live with on a day-to-day basis.
He takes the Bible and he breaks it down into simple terms and where you can understand. And like I said before, sometimes a lot of churches, even the Salvation Army, sometimes we start using these big words that people don't understand, like even saying someone got saved. Well, what does that mean? What does it mean when you say someone got saved? And it's accepting Jesus into your heart. So it's like words like that we use that people don't understand.
It's just very interesting how he points out, the different things of, the sin part, and then he comes back with the, how to make it better, and he just points it out. It's there. I didn't know all this stuff was in there, but now that he's pointing it out, it's like, wow, I guess if you really dig into the Bible, you find these things.
This is a daily moral standards that we can live by, that the teachings are coming from. And honestly, we can take verse by verse as what he's done, and pretty much he's done the hard work for us, and now laying it out so that we have an easier understanding.
There's some people who don't like to be in Bible classes, but this one seems to get their attention.
All right, welcome back to the Warrior's Way. Our warrior this week is Erin McClelland. She is from New Pass, and she was just finished up about how she was never going to go into drug rehabilitation and helping kids, and then she went into drug rehabilitation and helping kids. So you moved to the east side of state where we're at now, and it's 2001, and so that happens, right? And then, like, you're working at the hospital. Now, how long were you there?
I was only there, well, when I was at Brighton Hospital, they actually shut down the adolescent unit.
Wow.
I know.
How long after you got there?
Probably there 6 months.
Wait a minute.
7 months.
They hire you from across the state, and then they're like, yeah, we've decided we're not doing this?
Right, they just stopped services. They were just going to focus on adult services. But there was also like a big transition where like youth had to stay in school, and it was just adolescent programs were just diminishing across the state, unfortunately.
So there's just not like funding for it or
I
something?
think so. I mean, there was definitely a need. I mean,
Yeah.
I still hear about it all the time now, how there's a need, but
Yeah, we're not going to tell her we're thinking about transitioning this. See, that's just how,
no.
that's how businesses are.
Yeah, and I wasn't ready to work with adults yet. I
Right.
was, struggling. There's adults
know people that
intimidate
still-
me at that time, even though I was an adult, but I just didn't feel like I had the knowledge or the skill set
Yeah.
to relate or to help or support that adult yet. I mean,
mo-
knowing what I know now, I could have done it, but I
Like,
didn't know then.
Most people struggle with adults, whether they have
know.
addiction
They're
issues or
not.
not.
That's
It's like,
so
how do you
true.
communicate with this person? You know.
true.
All right, so this puts. Let's see, where you at right there? So you're like,
2001, 2002.
so you're like
2001.
late 20s.
Yeah, getting their mid-20s, yeah.
26, 27. All right, so you're 26, 27. And did they lay you off, or like did they say you can only do
I think-
adults, or how did that
Right.
work?
They offered us a position to work on the adult unit, and again, I was still doing like tech stuff and running groups with the kids and stuff. And like I said, I'm like, I don't know if I'm ready for adults. So I just went back to waiting tables at restaurants for a minute, but I had applied at Genesee County numerous times for, hoping to get a probation job or something, but didn't happen. Didn't
So you're
come
still
through.
trying to be a probation officer?
Yeah, I'm still trying to be a probation officer, and so I'm applying, and just no luck, no leads. We're full. So I had to kind of go in like these backdoor ways to get to where I am with working with the criminal justice population. But so I had a call from an agency called Project Independence, which
Project
was
Independence.
part of Community Recovery Services, which was part of Insight Recovery Center. So
Okay.
and it was like a separate grant, and it worked primarily with youth and foster care.
And that's where like all of you guys met,
Yes,
right? Like the
yes.
whole
Our whole little
Flint
crew.
area like group. You guys
Yes.
all kind of stuck together all
We
these
did.
years. Okay.
We did.
So
It was
this is 2001,
Yeah, late
2002.
2001, early 2002.
Okay.
So I transitioned
So
there.
you come to Insight and you meet all of these people, and this grant is for what?
So we were working particularly with youth and foster care, and
Okay.
my job was a mentor coordinator in life skills. Again, it was the youth that attracted me to the job, but I was in this job for a while. Like I said, it was a specific grant funded. That's when I met like Reggie Coleman. Reggie was one of my first real people, I guess you could say, to tell me how it is over here on the
Yeah.
east side of the state. And me and my little west side, it's like this, but this is how it is. But we are brother and sister. I love Reggie. He was very inspiring to me. But he was, one of the first people to train me and teach me about here. I interviewed with Chris Flores at the time. Chris
Okay.
is a big name from Insight Community Recovery Services, now with Congressman Kildee, of course. And
Yeah.
I guess he didn't want to hire me at the time, but now he loves me. We see each other, we hug, and it's probably because I came with this certain West Side mentality, I guess.
So
or
explain to
just-
people what that means
I
when
don't
you
know.
say
I guess
that.
I was just, I don't know. I guess I was just came with this really, I don't know. I don't think it was fairy tale-ish because we were dealing with the same issues.
Fairy
Maybe,
tale-ish?
Maybe.
So they thought you were so positive, like you got to
maybe.
get it's not
You
pie
gotta
in the
bring her
sky,
down.
and
Yeah.
this is concrete and barbed
Yeah,
wire.
we got to bring her down, and but it worked out great. And I was working with these youth and I loved it, but then it started to wear on my heart. And I was like, and my boss at the time was like, why are you not getting your master's degree? And I was like, because I have this bachelor's degree and I can't get a job doing what I want to do. So why the heck do I want to get a master's
Right.
degree? And I don't know what I want to do when I grow up.
Right.
And so after lots of persuasion, I enrolled at Oakland University to get my master's while I was still at Project Independence.
Yeah.
And then,
The Bears.
yes, I'm a Grizzly. I'm a Laker, a Grizzly, and, all that. But so I go and get my master's degree. And at the time, I'm making all of my connections with community recovery services, with Danny, with Sheila, with Ronnie Wiggins, with Heather, with the whole crew, our whole crew that we just,
Flint group.
I know, we're still so close too.
Yeah, you guys are all still in it.
Yeah,
It's crazy.
Yeah. And so I get my master's, and I'm getting my master's, and
So you're working there and getting your master's.
and
Right.
Cindy's like, why are you not doing counseling? This is Cindy Eckert, one of my mentors as well in the field. She's like, why are you not working as a counselor with us yet? And again, I was like, because I didn't know how to work with adults. I felt like I didn't know how to work with adults. And then she's like, trust me, you will do good.
Okay.
I said, okay. So we transitioned out of that job. Plus, my heart was just, I wanted to adopt all these kids. I wanted to open a foster care home. And
Yeah.
my husband now is like, we're not opening a foster care
All
home.
right.
Like,
So
I do meet my husband in this
yeah,
time frame.
I was going to say, like, where's the? Let's pause on the work. And
Yeah.
what's the? Are you still with your
And
sister
not
and your
with-
niece? Or?
No, I
So you
moved
left
over
from
here
Grand
in a
Rapids with a
relationship.
boyfriend,
Yes,
and
that
then-
didn't work out.
And then, so what
Everything works
happened?
for a
You just got
reason.
your own little spot, or?
Yeah, so I did. I moved up to the Fenton area, and I actually interviewed for a cheerleading coaching job at Fenton High School, and made one of my best friends through this, who's encouraged me and supported me when I went through that horrific breakup, and I wanted to move back to my friends and family where I was comfortable and safe
right.
and stuff.
So did you have to move out when you guys broke?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
wow,
So,
okay.
but I got my own place.
Yeah.
I became independent, and it was awesome. And
And you got that
And
insight
just-
crew.
yes.
There's so many, you're surrounded by a lot of great human beings.
Yes, very
All
supportive.
right. So you're like, this is so like the transition right before you get into this next part. How many years is that? From 2001, 2002 to what?
Well, when did I enroll in college? I graduated in college in 08, so I think it was like
So
05.
05.
I think I did a 3-year program at Oakland.
Okay. So from 2002 to 2008, you go through relationship breakup, independent, insight, training, school, counseling, friends, and then husband comes.
Yes.
Okay. Tell us that.
Yes. Well, after years of my own therapy, because I realized I had this pattern of unhealthy relationships, but I always looked at it as it wasn't me, it's
was
them.
Yeah, what's the common denominator?
Right. And I'm like, okay.
And-
there was a combination, though. It was, sometimes there was the choices I
Sure.
made, and I wanted to fix people. I had
Well-
that whole codependent mentality of fixing people. I didn't find totally broken people. It wasn't like that. I just,
Well, plus the history of your family. Like
Yes.
were you taking that into account at this point? Like my
Oh,
parents
yeah.
struggled with this, so I should why? Okay, so
I
you're red
didn't
flagging
understand-
yourself.
Yeah, and I didn't understand what marriage was. My
Right.
parents didn't have a healthy marriage, and then
Right.
they both remarried. My mom's remarried a few more times since then. My dad's been remarried one time and been with that person for 20 years. And but my mom has had numerous relationships, and she was in very, very dysfunctional, horrific, violent relationships. Now she's in a good relationship with a good
I
man.
understand
but-
all of that.
Yeah, so
Oh,
for
Lord.
me, I had no concept of healthy relationships at all.
All right, so just so I make sure we nutshell this real
Yes.
quick. You're going to school, you got your own place, you're surrounded with good people, you're happy with work stuff.
Yes.
But the personal stuff you're still working on, you're
Yes.
trying to get there. All right, so
Yeah.
you're going through school, and did you meet him at school, after school?
No, I met him at a bar. in Flushing.
That is so perfect.
Yes, we met in a bar. I don't think you can even go meet people in bars anymore. I don't know. It's everything's
You got to see if they have their COVID papers.
Exactly.
Do you have your papers?
right. Do you have any aliases do you have?
Yeah, right. You look like you may have had some disease.
Yes,
your skin is
yes.
completely white.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we met, and
now it's all clitory,
apps.
right?
I don't think I can do that. I can't be single.
Dude, like, you know how your parents are like, oh, you kids think you know everything?
Right.
I'm turning into the get off my lawn guy.
Yes, me too.
Just get off my lawn.
Right.
It's not personal. Just don't touch it.
Right.
I know you know better.
Oh yeah, we recite our parents' stuff all the time. I'm like, how do we get like this?
Yeah.
You know, and so I meet him, and we had originally met on my 30th birthday.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess that's a time frame. And then we met 6 months later on St. Patrick's Day, and then he never left me alone. And he'll say I didn't leave him alone, but he didn't leave me alone. His name is Jeremy.
But the truth is,
yeah, it was. I just reeled him right in, and he had two. He still has two daughters. So he was raising them. He had custody of his girls, and they were 10 and 7 at that time, and we clicked.
that had to be perfect for you, knowing your personality.
They were girls.
Yeah.
They were fun then, and they became teenagers.
Yeah, well, you said 7 and 10. I'm like, you got 3
I like
solid
that.
years
Yes,
before the
yes,
comes
yes,
out.
yeah.
And I have twin girls, and,
Oh, my goodness.
and I'm a better human being because of my daughters. But, like, the teenage years are tough.
You got to send them away, like from 12 to 18.
You just got to be as supportive as possible.
Yes.
And
you can cry. Okay, cry. Oh, now you're happy. Oh, now you're mad. I don't even know what
when
you
I had
are.
my daughters kicking each other in the face because they were fighting over socks that didn't match.
Oh my gosh.
That didn't match.
Right.
I didn't know what to do with that. I was like, my
No.
brain was like, I give up. I quit. You win.
No, I don't even think there is
Apparently, there's a pattern to non-matching
Matching socks, yeah.
socks that don't match, and that's why you put them on. I quit. Like,
Yeah.
this game is stupid.
Yeah, my girls always wore non-matching socks. I don't even know what the point was. Why did I buy you a pair?
Listen, it's whatever's cool, right?
Yes.
Okay, so
we meet.
You get 7 and 10. How long?
We fall in love, I guess.
Wait. How long was the?
The dating? Like the because I'd been living in my own place. And I really established that independence about me. And he's like, I don't see why you just won't move in. I said, well, I won't move in until I know we're getting married.
Because you had the prior.
Yeah,
it makes sense.
I just want to know if we're going to get married, you know. And so we only dated about a year and a half, and then he proposed. And so
he knew.
14 years. We just celebrated 14 years of marriage bliss.
And you keep giving us these perfect spots. We have to take a break at again. All right, Sit Pipe. Please go to newpaths.org and check that out. You guys are hoping that you're enjoying this as much as I am. Sit tight. We're going to be right back.
This is a recovery day for not only for people in recovery, but for the families of those in recovery. So we're very grateful for that.
So Dwayne, this is the first year you've not actually participated in Soberfest.
Correct.
But you're 81?
Yes, sir.
And just wanted to be out here supporting everybody,
Yes,
right?
sir.
All
Yes,
right.
sir.
Well, we really appreciate you.
It's a cool thing. I mean, it's my first time being here, so I'm very, very impressed. Overwhelming, kind of.
I heard about it through my NA meetings, and I was excited to go for the first time and meet other people who are in recovery and working towards their goals.
All right. And how's it going?
Great. I feel great. I feel good to be back to myself again, and every day is just a new life for me. I feel like I have a second chance.
Hey, it took me a long time. I'm no quitter. Welcome back. Welcome back to the Warriors Way. Our warrior this week is Erin McClelland from New Paths, and we were just getting into the section where she was getting ready to meet her husband, the love of her life, with the girls. So you did 18 months. You decided to get married. So this would have put you when? 2008, 2009?
We got married in 2008.
Man, right when everything just crashed. Wow.
Yes. But not our love.
Our love is forever.
Almost wasn't, but we made it work.
All right,
you fight
so
through it. But yeah,
2008, the worst possible year.
Yes, it was a good year though. We had a good year.
All right, so you get married, you move. No, did you
I
have
graduated. So at the same time, planning a wedding,
Hey.
get my master's degree.
That's not busy.
No, and
Finishing-
internships, and I was working for CRS and did my internship out at Turning Point.
Wait, CRS.
Oh, Community Recovery Services. Sorry,
Community
we were a
Recovery
branch of Insight.
Okay.
And then I started to do just the full-time counseling, and Cindy asked me, do you want to go to the jail or do you want to go to New Pass? And I'm like, I don't want to go to a jail. What are you talking about? And then I was like, I don't even know if I want to go to New Pass. I didn't even know what it was.
You didn't know what New Pass was?
No, but I went to New Pass. So this was actually that I got a backtrack because actually she asked me that when I started my master's program. So it was like 04, 05. And she's like, we're going to put you in a counseling area because you could get your development plan, your McBAP and stuff. So you could counsel people without your degree.
Right.
And so I chose to be placed at New Pass because my friend Danny Martinez was there and Heather was there. And I was like, I'll have good support, So I was a guest for New Pass for 5 years as a therapist. And that's when it was all corrections based. So
Now, why is it called being a guest? What does that mean?
Because I didn't work for New Pass, and Chris Flores always
Gotcha.
insinuate whether we're at the jail, Salvation Army, or New Pass, we are guests in their facility. We will respect their rules, their policies, their procedures.
Okay.
So always have that mentality.
So 5 years, you're doing this little rotation,
Yeah.
and then why New Pass?
I was there, and actually when I left, I think I officially left in 2010. So I was there from 5 to 10 or somewhere in there, or 2008. And I was waving goodbye to Mr. Hart, who was the security. I'm like, bye, I'll probably never see you again, except for on Facebook. And I started working for Insight Recovery Center by itself, in the private practice side, where I could bill for commercial insurances, and that's where I was really wanting to go to in my life. Obviously the probation officer side didn't work out. I still got to work with the criminal justice clients though. Loved them. And then I decided to go into the private practice sector because I said, I'm just over working with addiction. I'm over it. I just want to do something that's not addiction. So I'm for sure I'm going to get
the emotional pull on what you guys do is so much. That's why I don't have the ability to emotionally tag like you guys do. It's so much.
Yeah,
it's overwhelming, right?
Yeah. So when Insight closes, I know, like Danny shared that with you too.
Yeah. What year was that?
10?
10.
11? Or maybe 12. No, it's 12. It's been 10 years. Is it 10 years? Or 11? Somewhere in there. But it's been 10, 11 years.
It was slowly happening.
It was just devastating. I was I probably would have been there forever, honestly.
Yeah.
So I go and I work at Sacred Heart on Beecher Road and a mental health facility, behavioral health facility called Delta Family Clinic.
Okay.
And I was so excited for that because I was like, there's not going to be anybody with addiction there. I'm not going to have to deal with substance use disorders. So I get my roster, my client caseload today, and the first client I have, her grandson is a heroin addict, dependent. She wants to know how to help him.
Wow.
And I'm like, okay, God.
You're like the Godfather. Every time I'm out, they pull me back in.
So I literally raised my hands up and I said, I surrender. This is what I'm supposed to do. This is where I'm supposed to be. So I'm at Insight for 1 year. Or not Insight, I apologize. Sacred Heart in Delta.
Yep.
And Marlene Colick messages me on Facebook.
She is fire.
Yeah, she's crazy. So she messaged me on Facebook, what are you doing? I said, I'm working. Where are you working? I said, I'm at Sacred Heart in Delta. New Pass needs a clinical director. And I'm like, okay.
Good for them.
Good for New Pass, She's like, no, they want to go treatment. They want to go treatment. We want to get CARF accredited. I was like, I doubt myself a lot. I'm a huge self-doubter. I don't portray that on the outside, but that is one of my limitations. I doubt myself a lot. And I was like, there's no way I can do that. And I really love just being a counselor.
Right.
I just love that and helping people. And I talked to Chris Flores was working with me at Sacred Heart and a few of our other Insight folks. And I said, I don't know what I should do. They're like, what do you want to do? I said, I don't know. I'm like, I think I'm flattered. They reached out. I guess I'll interview. So I interviewed with Jim and Marlene and then a board member. And they really wanted me to at least help them get CARF accreditation. I was like, I could probably help with that. So that's what substance use provider agencies do, for, following standards, programs and stuff. That's our accountability.
Right.
And so I get hired in just kind of contractual at first, and then because there was still all corrections. And when I interviewed with Jim, I said, the only way that I will come on is if I can make New Pass one of the largest and best treatment centers in Genesee County. Not lying, I said that. And I knew it was going to have to be a huge culture change.
Right.
And I knew that.
Because you were serious. It wasn't just a punchline.
I'm not coming here for people to like put their thumbs down on people and act like we're in jail, because we weren't. We were trying to change people's lives. Like, people were there to change.
Yeah.
People were going to get out and go be our neighbors.
Right.
I want to have great neighbors.
Right.
I don't want someone breaking into my house, or hurting my children. Like, I want people to change. And because if they needed to be in jail, jail would have kept them.
Right.
But jail or their agents or whoever saw them as someone, they have a chance to change their lives.
Yeah, and you can't just arrest your way out of it. You can't.
There's
you
a
can't-
time for that, but not to go forward.
You can't like buy your way out of it.
No.
You got to find a solution to this.
Yeah. So I just celebrated 10 years. I had a 5-year plan to go there, help New Pass get on this right track of treatment and recovery and prevention. And then now I just celebrated 10 years.
Okay,
So that 5-year plan went so fast, because we truly, if people who know New Pass have flipped this agency upside down.
Because you're like trying to drive an elephant.
Yeah.
So it just takes time.
It does.
And so you went from what to what in that 10-year time period? How many of the check marks that you had accomplished did you get?
Oh my goodness, I've accomplished so much and more.
All right, so
honestly,
so where was it at when you started? Like,
the program itself was an alternative to jail, and all of our
so instead of jail, you get 90 days.
90 days.
Do our program.
Yep, and you come in, you would do some substance abuse counseling, some life skills, and then they'd get out.
And then they would hopefully not start again.
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
I've seen lots of.
So you're like, I don't like this system.
Nope.
So you decided to implement what?
True treatment.
All right, define what that means.
Counseling, empathy, compassion, caring, nurturing. We are not corrections. These guys do not have doors that go clink, clink, clink on their bedrooms. They have a door that opens and shuts. Talking about just the physical beautification of the facility. And it took an entire team, and along that line, some people left, and new people came on, and our team is amazing. I couldn't do anything that I do without my team, and Jim, my boss, he never hesitated to allow me to do these things, because I know that's what he wanted also, but it was like he needed the support and the team to do it as well. And I was just able to bring on amazing people, from our clinical staff to our therapists. Like, it's just changed. We changed the
So you
name.
didn't have those before?
No, New Pass always contract.
No clinical staff?
No, New
Really?
Pass contracted with agencies until they got their own license.
And so you decided to do all that in
Yeah, so New Pass got their own licensures. We got funding through the Region 10 PIHP to provide residential, inpatient, outpatient, intensive outpatient recovery housing. They already had the sobering facility, which is very unique in Genesee County, because there is no other sobering facility. So New Pass had their foot in the door.
Well, explain that real quick. A sobering facility.
Yeah, the sobering facility is open 24 hours, 365 days a year, and it's at our main location on Hamilton. And people can walk in, law enforcement can drop you off, families can drop you off. Anyone can drop you off to the sobering facility. You can either be at risk for intoxication, relapse, you can be under the influence. Obviously, if you need medical attention, we prefer you go to the hospital first, because we don't have nurses or medications.
And then you'll just have to send them to the
Yeah, and then so we'd send them to the hospital, and then the hospital calls us back. So the sobering facility was created as a diversion program for the emergency departments, who were getting flooded with people coming in under the influence of drugs and alcohol.
So to make this make sense to us lesser intelligent people, is the hospitals that would take them in when someone ODs, and they get their, instead of having them in for like their injection spot, well, they'll have like whatever, an infection or something, and then trying to get that.
Well, they would, so someone shows up in the emergency department, intoxicated, alcohol, opiates, whatever that may be.
Now, what's the emergency department?
Like at Hurley or Ascension.
So
like
the emergency
emergency,
rooms.
yes.
Okay.
So they get someone in, you're not going to admit them.
Oh, I was like, the emergency department.
No, they don't, sorry. They don't, so they won't admit them, into the hospital. They
so
don't
if they're under the influence of something,
so
they say
they'll
no.
call Sober House and say, they'll treat them to get them to a level of stability, safe stability. And then the person often didn't have anywhere to go. They were homeless. No one wanted them. Their families weren't going to take them back home, so they called Sober House.
How full is this place?
Oh my gosh, we have
it like
17
packed?
beds. We're always full, always full. And people walk in, And then, if someone's waiting to go to treatment, we offer them a place to stay in there. So someone has an appointment at another provider on Friday or next Monday. And they'll ask, Erin, can this person stay here? Because if they go out,
Right.
Obviously all kinds of devastating things can happen.
Right.
So we do that. And that branched us into so many things with our quick response team, our opioid overdose recovery program, working with doctors, working with law enforcement. We have coaches who are on the streets doing street outreach. I mean, so when you asked me, did I check out my check boxes? They were all checked, and then all these extra check boxes came.
Yeah.
And it was, Erin, implement these programs.
Yeah.
And next week, we launch our medication-assisted treatment program.
Medication assistant treatment program.
For alcohol and opioid use disorders.
What does that entail?
We have a medical director now. His name is Dr. Borjali. He's from Hurley, or U of M. I guess they're actually employed by U of M. And we will be treating people. We had to meet people where they're at and put aside our biases in regards to the medication part. Like some people just can't find recovery with only community support groups, counseling, faith-based programs, mental health medications. Sometimes you actually need medication to treat the substance use disorder.
Talking about like the
So we're going to be utilizing Vivitrol, Sublocade, which is an injectable Suboxone, and then also Suboxone if needed. Like if people are already on it and doing very well and want to continue that care, we will. But there's now an injectable Suboxone, so less diversion.
And for those people that don't know, tell them what that's for.
That is used as a opioid blocker for people who struggle with opioid use disorders. So it's it'd be like just if I have high blood pressure. I mean, we'll put it in medical terms. A physician prescribes you medication to stabilize your blood pressure.
So in this case, instead of doing the illegal drug, they take this and it suppresses the issue of having to take it.
Yes.
All right.
And it's all, evidence-based practices, medical treatment by a doctor, but we have a whole team. We have a doctor, therapist, recovery coach, care coordinator. They at New Pass, what's so unique is we take a total team approach to the care of the individual. And that was one of the things I really wanted to do. It isn't, one person can't do this. One person can't.
No, you have to have a group of people with the same identity and focus producing the output in their situation to be able to put the best outcome for everyone involved. And it sounds like one of the things that you don't give yourself credit for is identifying people that are good at doing that, because it takes all different types of personalities. And you'd be shocked at the different types of personalities that you put in there. So from the time that you took over, 2010, basically, how big is New Pass now? Because didn't you say you wanted to take over the world or something? I remember you saying that.
my clinical manager she's going for world domination.
World domination.
World domination for New Pass. There's so many different components of it, but I can tell you, inpatient, when I checked the census yesterday, we had 130 people in-house, and that could be anywhere from residential. We still do offer an alternative to jail program, so we do have people in there who are not in jail and getting treatment and life skills and all those things. So we still have that program. We have recovery housing where people can stay for up to a year in safe, sober living environments. We have women's and men's residential. And so when I was looking at all of our locations and houses, I looked at the census and we had 130 people.
And what was it? Do you remember the number when you first started?
Well, you could get about 60 to 70 on a floor. So at max, I remember when I worked there for community recovery services, there'd be 130, 140. So we're about the same, but the population is different. Granted, we still get, those that are involved in the justice system. But when you count now our outpatient, New Pass didn't have an outpatient program. We probably have 200 or more individuals just in our outpatient program coming in for treatment. And of course, we know the pandemic and the epidemic are driving. People are coming into treatment by the double digits every day. And with the help of our street outreach team as well, they go and meet people where they're at. So in the last 3 months, we've delivered over 1,500 boxes of Narcan out to the streets.
Nice.
To the high risk areas. And then when they're there, if that person says, I want to come into treatment, we call, get the van, go pick them up, bring them in,
Well, Erin, I am absolutely a huge fan of what you're doing. Believe it or not, we're We're all done. The time is already up. And you had a spectacular story. I love why you get into that passion to be able to help those that won't help themselves. And this is your way to do it. And just allowing that path to present itself and produce a conclusion. I just thank you so much for what you do for the community. Thank you so much for your story. I think people love it. We're going to post that up on our podcast. If you've not gone to Spiritual Warfare Unit and like, share, and subscribe, your time is up. We'll have to do it next week. Thanks for popping in. We got to see you guys soon. Bye now. Do you have a nonprofit in your area that's doing a lot of work that people should know about? Feel free to contact Spiritual Warfare Unit at 810-715-9319, and we would love to have them on to see what good they're doing in the community and find out their story. Thank you so much.
Too much and let me stay this way.